Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And we are live, and we've got two fantastic guests with us today. I'm solo, and as always, I'm always joined by Monday. And today we've got Jay. Big up, welcome, guys. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and also subscribing. Welcome. Hi guys, welcome back to the Man United Agenda. It's Thursday. It feels like I've been away forever. But as always, on Monday, how you doing, sir? And you guys have been absolutely doing a fantastic job at the moment on the channel representing. I've been hiding.
Listen, we can take over. You've set us up well. You've been a good parent, but now we can walk out on our own and hold our own out here, you know? Just about. But it's nice for you to make an appearance, Errol. Good to see your face again. But yeah, I've got 11 days, 12 days off work now. I have to use up my annual leave, so I'm chilling and enjoying the football. It's been a great couple of weeks, and I'm sure you guys had a great experience on Sunday going to Wembley as well. So yeah, buzzing.
And Jay, sir, how you doing?
Yeah, good, man. I feel like, you know what? I feel like I've not been on here for ages. It's probably only been about a couple of weeks. It feels a lot longer. Do you know what I mean? So I've missed you, and I'm glad to be on with you two as well, because, you know, this is like I think we had Mr. B. This was the original podcast I did with you guys, wasn't it? So yeah, it's always good to come on here. And it's, you know what? You guys are positive vibes anyway. So God knows what you're going to be like now we're winning trophies. I'm scared because you guys have always been positive and like, you know what, looking on the bright side and stuff. So now we're actually winning things. This is going to be exciting. I'm dying to see it.
Brilliant. And we've got to give a massive shout out to Mr. B. He's celebrating his broccoli today. It's his birthday. So
big up, Mr. B. Happy birthday.
Is it? Yes. Did he get his letter off King Charles? Did he still do that? Did he still do that when you hit a big 100?
I think so, yeah. I think so. He'd probably be watching right now, cussing. And plus Fred scored, so it's more broccoli for him as well, isn't it? We need to come up with sort of like a theme burger that basically just action-packed, full of broccoli.
You know what? I love this with Solo, right? He does this all the time, right? He tells you these references, and there'll be people tune in for the first time who won't have a jar of glue what you're on about. Right? They'll be like, What's the broccoli thing? Tell the viewers who are joining us for the first time what the broccoli thing is.
It's a cooking channel. Yeah, it is a cooking channel. Well, Mr. B doesn't like broccoli. It stumped his growth when he was younger, you see.
That's low.
Hey,
low.
Hey, that's well under the bus there. Throw him right under that bus.
Throw him straight under the bus. Yeah, now Mr. B don't like eating the broccoli. So the running joke is if Fred scored a goal, he would have to go on to the Friday night takeaway and eat broccoli live. And it was painful for him. So now, whenever Fred score a goal,
you see the broccoli signs. Did you see that stat that Fred scored as many goals as Chelsea since November?
Yes. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous, that, isn't it?
It's crazy.
What's going on?
You know what, though? With it, I don't know, Andy, you go to the games, and I was talking to Andy the other day privately as well. Do you think, though, with the reason why he's so more effective is because he's so much forward in the game now, rather than sort of playing that sort of defensive role? And now he's picking up pockets.
There's a little bit of that. And I also think he's benefiting because he's being brought into the game with a bit of freedom, especially as a sub. So you're right about him getting forward, but he's always full of beans, Fred. He's one of the few players that sometimes you think might need to calm down now and again a little bit because he gets a little bit like, ugh. But he comes on, especially as a sub. I know he's not just played as a sub. He started a lot of games as well. But when he does come on and people are knackered, he's full of beans. He can get forward. And you're right, he is finding those spaces and those gaps. And he's obviously got a lot of confidence as well. I think the manager's giving everyone confidence. And he's a popular guy. You've had, the chance of Fred would tear you apart again and all that sort of stuff. And it's great. And I think in many ways, Fred's epitomising what is going right at Manchester United right now. He's got a grin on his face. He's getting goals. The team's buzzing. Everyone's full of confidence. We're getting, one thing that annoyed me last season was when we got outworked. Omondi spoke about this the first time I was ever on this podcast. And he said that the bare minimum for any Manchester United team is you work harder, or for any players, you work hard. And there was times last season when you're looking at it going, we've been outworked again. Like, we're not putting the effort in. And I think now, the hardest working team on the pitch when United play is United.
Yeah.
We're winning all our individual battles. We're full of beans. We're full of energy. We're grafting. And that comes from the manager downwards. And I think Fred has always been a grafter, to be fair to the kid. He's always put a shift in, but now he's got a bit more purpose and he's got a bit more freedom. And also he's coming into games as well, more often than not as a sub, which helps him, I think, as well. So, yeah, it's all coming together. And I think that, you know, seeing him last night get that goal right at the death was just the icing on the cake. It really was. Because my dad's like you, Solo. He loves Fred. And it's mad because he's quite a harsh critic, my dad. He can be quite harsh on players. Like, he's got high standards. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't business. He still thinks this is like, you know, the Busby or the Ferguson era. He expects levels, and he loves Fred. Like, even when things are going wrong, he still stick up for Fred. So yeah, it's good to see, man. I'm loving the Fred love at the minute.
But do you know what the thing is? And I was watching you earlier as well, and I was thinking about, because I know you touched on sort of the Harry Maguire earlier as well. You were saying about what he said after the interview, which I agree in somewhat what he's talking about in the interview, because the expectation level is still quite high. But I think it's the same thing with Harry Maguire. If he make one mistake on one pass, people are quick enough to pick it up, rather than another player could make five mistakes, but no one will pick it up. But because they're looking at Fred so much, and I think that's where him and Harry Maguire get a lot of stick in the Man United jersey.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, you guys may disagree. I think Fred's quite a popular figure at the minute. I do. I think like there's a lot to like about him. He's scoring goals, which always helps. He's the manager's picking him. Like, if Erik ten Hag's at this stage now, where Erik ten Hag could pick the tea lady to start for United, and people would go, I agree with that, because it's Erik ten Hag. He knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? He honestly could stick the hair up front, and we go, well, that's, you know, that's the manager. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And if he keeps picking Fred, there's a reason behind that. So people go, okay, then. Now, Maguire has been relegated to sort of fifth choice. Like, Luke Shaw gets in at centre-back ahead of Harry Maguire now, and he's not even a centre-back. And I feel like Fred can go, well, I'm scoring goals, I'm winning football matches. Maguire isn't getting picked as often. There's still a couple of mistakes there, and I feel like he still gets a lot of stick, Maguire, whereas I think Fred he's always had a few fans that have stuck up for him, or say a few, like a section of the fan base that stuck up for him because of his work rate, and because under Ralph Rangnick, he was one of the few players who emerged with any sort of credit. Whereas now, I think that's becoming a little bit broader. And I think he is a popular player. And, you know, just as a sort of an example, you know, Harry Maguire's got a chant. I can't remember last time I heard it. I hear the Fred chant. You know, genuinely, I do. You know, I hear Fred will tear us apart as a, you know, okay, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but I hear it. I don't hear that Harry Maguire, you know, came from Leicester to Manchester. I've not heard that for a little while. So yeah, it's. I just feel like now it's almost like one player's going one way and one player's going the other in terms of popularity, and maybe even in terms of performances.
Yeah, I'll say give Fred another 4-year contract. That's all I'll say right here. Sign him up.
So says the prophet. You're the one who called out Fred for a long time ago, and I felt you say it in jest when he said this months and months ago, saying Fred's your favorite player. He's playing well, because everyone was ripping him at the time. But you look like a prophet right now, sitting there writing your scrolls and Bibles and all that kind of thing about the future to come. And we're talking about the future today, about what could happen this year under Ten Hag. So it's really important.
You know what he's like though on Monday? He you know what Solo's like? He probably meant to say McTominay, got confused and said Fred, and then just stuck with it.
You know it. And go back to Maguire and thing. It just shows you, like with Fred, I think with the fan base, they know he's got limitations, but they know he works hard. He gives it his all. And you can see that, especially when you go to games like you do, Jay. You can see people working their asses off and saying, right, I might lack a little bit here, but I'm going to give you 100%. And he's always got that beaming, white teeth smile and looking happy and thing. And he put a lot of effort in. And I think fans appreciate that, despite his limitations, you know. But with Maguire, I think I think defenders always get stick, because when goals go in, everyone's scrutinising it. From since Alan Hansen used to sort of give his spiel on Match of the Day about defending and all this kind of thing. So defenders get scrutinised big time. And when we went through the last couple of years when we were getting beat really badly, and he's there as the £80 million player, you can't miss him. He's taking it all. He's got thick skin, but he gets pelters, not just from our fans, but all fans now. And I don't think that reputation is going to take a lot for him to turn that around. And first of all, he's going to need to get the team, and he can't, because we've got two great defenders centre back at the moment as well. So it's tough for Harry Maguire, but I'm really happy for him to lift the cup. That's a good touch by the manager.
Yeah. Just a quick one on Monday. We're going to go through some comments, but cheers, Fred.
Oh, you got it. It came through.
Cheers, Fred.
Big
And
up to
remember,
Glenn, by
guys.
the way. Yeah, for the mugs.
Yeah, remember, guys, as well. We've got these as well, so check them out as well. I think we're going to have Glenn sorting out the
Yep.
on the website, so check them out. It's the Fred Cup, guys, and you need to make sure you
flip it around. You got the logo, the Man United agenda logo. Yeah, one side.
Don't listen. Yeah. It's about Fred.
That's more important.
It's all about Fred.
It?
It's all about Fred. And quick one before we move on, guys. 20 in the chat. We are going to go through some of the comments now. But what I want to say, Jay, it's a celebration for us. We actually hit the 3K subscribers yesterday. So yeah, massive.
Well
thanks
done,
to
guys.
everyone. Yeah.
Deservedly so.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who's supported us. Massive thanks to Jay. Massive thanks to you got Andy Tate with us now on a Monday night or a Tuesday night. And then also you got Phil De Bruyne as well, who's with us, Phil Brown. And then you
big
also...
guns here. You're pulling out the big guns, McAleens and Andy Tate. Andy Tate made his presenting debut, didn't he, for you guys?
Yeah.
He was telling me
you know what?
man.
Yeah, he's doing well, man. He's doing well. He's called Mr. B out all the time about the broccoli. Absolutely every show he call him out on the broccoli. Every video he does like little short video, he called Mr. B out because he knows Fred's gonna get a goal, so he always does it. So
I'll tell you something though, Andy Tate is sharp. I heard a rumor, my pap was telling me you guys were walking through Wembley Way and the Newcastle fans were giving him some.
Yeah.
And he's so sharp with his comebacks, you know.
He is. He's
them, making their head go down. Oh God, got to come back with that. So big up to Andy Tate. And just especially big up Jay. From day one, he's given us good guidance and he's been like our spiritual guide. You know, we go to him and sort of gives us great advice, and we appreciate you. You do it for free, and that's what we like about you. HG Gamer saying, is the dreams about winning the quadruple? Might be. Tune in, guys. Might well be. Bill Badger's here. Ed Mayhem as well. How you doing, bro? Talk Football on Twitter is saying good evening, to the three of us. Hope you have a great show. Hope you're hanging around. MUFC here as well. Hello Gone Wills is here as well. Let's get to some real comments. And the main thing we're talking about today, happy birthday, Mr. B. Obviously, thanks, guys, for giving him a shout out. MUFC is saying here, we've seen it all. We've won a lot. We're Man United. We're never going to stop. That rhymes. Here we go. Fred will make you eat again, says Vincent Bullock. You know that's
big up Vincent.
Mr. B. Here we go. Helen Godwill says, I actually think Fred would have blossomed under Ranić if the players hadn't treated him like a substitute teacher. If is the philosophy so different? I know Steve talked about this with Jay. Jay, you want
to? Yeah, I mean, I thought Fred did well under Ranić. Unfortunately for Ranić, Fred was one of the players that he could rely on, who actually then got injured. So whilst Fred, when he did play, did okay under Ranić, he had his worst season in terms of injury. He doesn't tend to get injured that often, Fred, but he did under Ranić, which was obviously a shame because Ranić was struggling. I think that part of the problem with Ranić is, the players didn't respond to him. I don't think his man management was that great, I'll be honest with you. I think if you look at how he handled certain players, you can see with Ten Hag, he gets the best out of the likes of Luke Shaw, the likes of Marcus Rashford, the likes of Fred in particular. Ranić, he seems to have an almost combative attitude towards some of the players. There was rumours that him and Marcus Rashford didn't get on. Marcus feeling a little bit miffed, I think, when he lost his place to Andy Elanga. The football wasn't great, and we became too predictable. And also, you know, some of the decisions. Listen, I liked Ranić for his press conferences, but you're throwing Phil Jones in at Anfield when the kid's barely played for Manchester United Football Club for 2 years. You can't do that. You can't. Like, it's not okay. And it didn't work. It backfired massively. And little decisions like that, I think you have to hold your hands up and say, he just wasn't up to it. The guy had not managed in a dugout for 3 years. He'd spent 8 of the last 10 years in a sort of almost an administrative role at Lokomotiv Moscow. You had the guy, I think Chris Armas, who was our assistant, was relaying matches back to some guy on a laptop in Moscow who was watching him and then feeding back to him about tactical decisions. You can't have that at Manchester United Football Club. That is how you wouldn't even have that at Accrington Stanley or whatever, let alone Manchester United. It was ridiculous. Honestly, do you know what I mean? Like, we have to be honest about it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the football, the results, the man management, yes, he should have. It was tough for him because he didn't get any signings, but he wasn't the right guy long term. The only good thing about Ralph Rangnick was he actually highlighted a lot of the issues that needed addressing, and he was very candid in press conferences. We've had a lot of journalists on the channel who spoke to us after they'd been to a Ralph Rangnick press conference. We had Jamie Jackson from The Guardian, we've had Laurie Whitwell and Carl Anker on from The Athletic, and they all said the same thing. You know, as a journalist, it was a journalist's dream, because he'd tell you exactly what he's thinking. He'd call out the owners. He'd moan about not being able to get signings. He'd say about how many players we needed to bring in, when managers don't tend to do that. But in terms of an actual manager in that dugout, making decisions, doing the tactics, picking the team, he didn't have it. He wasn't up to it. And this whole Gegenpress we were told about, it lasted for half an hour against Crystal Palace, and then that went out the window, didn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there was none of that. So yeah, he served a purpose. And I think that when you look back, you might go, okay, we needed him to get to where we are now, and where we are now is very good. But at the time, it was shocking.
I want to say hi to Bart, serious fan. He says, Fred is doing well to the presence of Casemiro. Besides him, the latter allows him space and time on the ball, as he's not the best technically. Sabitzer and Fred is an unbalanced combo, though. I want to say hi to David Pearson. How you doing,
Welcome.
man? It's a great logo there. It says the T lady has a higher FIFA rating than McTominay, for your information, Jake. Give a little laugh there. Just coming through a few more comments here before we go out. I want to say hi to Casper. And is that you, Casper, the referee from Sunday? Is it? It is. Big up, man. Big up. I gave him a lift home after our game. We got beat on penalties. But yeah, big up, Casper. You'll be coming on the show soon. And anyway, just finally here.
You've got John as well, who's new.
John how do you pronounce this? The Man City player, isn't it? He's on loan. McAfee. Sorry. Has Steve McLaren got enough credit for the job he has been assisting with Eric? I saw him on the bench the other day. It just reminded me he was there. Do you want to answer that? Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I always think with coaches, you don't know. Like, we don't know what they do. Unless you're in the team and in the squad, you don't really know what it is they're doing behind the scenes, and how involved they are, and what decisions they're involved in, and how they're motivating certain players, and what's going on. But what you can do is look at the results. And what we're seeing is a team that's playing well, players full of confidence, the belief is there, a system that works, is entertaining to watch. The new signings are fitting in well. The players that were there when they all arrived are playing as well as they've ever played. So you have to give the coaches credit for that. Now, to what degree, I've no idea. But if you've got a coaching staff that's come in the summer, and since then we've been flying in 4 competitions, then yeah, Steve McLaren does deserve credit. And you've seen the video. I saw there's a video doing the rounds of him and Ten Hag talking after the game last night, and McLaren saying, it's your mentality. You've got this mentality that's getting us here. So Ten Hag, they obviously get on well. They've worked together since FC 20 days. They've known each other since then. Where I think it was role reverse, where McLaren was the manager and Ten Hag was the coach. So that working relationship is obviously very good, and the results are showing that. So yeah, I think give McLaren and the other kid, is it Mitchell van der Gaag and Benny McCarthy? Give them all credit. And obviously the manager.
Most certainly. Iraq Football Podcast. How you doing, man?
Welcome.
He's got a question for you, Jay. How long would it be before Ten Hag is officially knighted?
Probably not until at least Sunday evening, when we beat the Scousers.
And just going back to the Rangnick thing, Helen Wills saying, I think Rangnick could do that because he's got nothing to lose, no United legacy to protect. I thought he was a troubleshooter coming in and doing what needed to be done, to stir things up and get people out. And he's done a good job in that respect. But yeah.
This is another one.
Fred is 1 goal away from scoring more goals than Chelsea since November. It gets worse with all these Chelsea stats, doesn't it? Poor Chelsea.
Brilliant.
This is what happened when you're working on a shoestring, though, isn't it?
Yep, the best scouting, as I call it, the best scouting in the Premier League.
They need to spend some money, and then they might win things.
Yeah, there you go. Far too much. But Omondi, have you got the quotation, or should I do the quotation from?
Yeah, I've got a few quotes, guys. So one topic today, we talk about Ten Hag. Obviously, we just won the cup, and Ten Hag was asked about the quadruple. And you know what he's like. He's a proper pro when it comes to dealing with the media as well. So talking about the quadruple, he said, we are not talking about that. We are talking about the next game, and it's a big game. We all know who that is, don't we? We're playing Liverpool on Sunday. And also, he talked about he was asked about the players. Are the players thinking about this? They're trying to get something out of him. And he said, that's for dreams, talking about the quadruple with the players. That's for the fans. It's nice, but it's not for us. And the players know that they are so experienced that they don't get distracted by beautiful dreams. So he acknowledges it's a beautiful dream to talk about winning 4 trophies in one season. And he's just trying to deflect it off and just focus at one game at a time. I love those answers, by the way.
With it though, it's at the moment the way we're playing. I don't know. Again, Jay, agree with it, but it's the way we're playing the sort of the football. I watched him yesterday after the final whistle blew, and he actually went where all the players were sitting for them to walk down, and he stood there, and every single player walked down and embraced. The coaching staff, he embraced every single one of them, and that's the mentality now with Manchester United. In the past, before on the Jose will be in the change room before all the other players. Then obviously with Solskjaer was sort of do very similar way that like what he was doing. Rangnick was nowhere to be seen, but then with him, it's almost like he hug, embrace, and that's the mentality and the difference right now at Manchester United, and that's what you can see from the manager. And it reminds you so much of Ferguson when Ferguson first came into the club at Old Trafford as well, where he did roughly the same sort of thing with all the coaching staff. They feel a part. Everyone feel a part of the club. Jay?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a connect. It's not just within the coaching staff and the players and the manager and everything. The fans as well. You feel connected to this team again. You know, under Ralph Rangnick, there was no unity there. We weren't united. You know, you felt sort of disconnected through him. It looked like a lot of the players didn't want to be there. And now you've got that feeling. And, you mentioned there at the end of the game. And what I love, and I've mentioned this on Stretford Paddock a few times, you've got players like Casemiro and Raphael Varane who've won 9 Champions League between them. Raphael Varane's won the World Cup. Lisandro Martinez two months ago won a World Cup. And they're celebrating at the final whistle of these games like it means something. They're with the fans. They're giving it all that. They're loving it. And obviously the teammates are as well. And, and at the final whistle yesterday, and it's happened a few times, normally at Old Trafford, the final whistle is empty. People have gone. We've got to get back home and all that. There's still at least sort of 15, maybe 20,000, maybe more fans waiting. And I'm one of them at the final whistle to clap every single player off that pitch.
Yeah.
And it's happening week in, week out because there's a real connection there, an appreciation. There's an appreciation from the team towards the fans. You can feel it, and the fans are loving what the team are doing, and it feels good to be there and to be connected to this team again. And that you don't have to go to the game to feel that. I feel it when I'm sat home watching it on my telly or whatever. You can just sense it, can't you? You can see that there's something there. You can see it on social media as well, and it feels good because you go back to this time last year when we were getting turned over left, right, and centre, and you had players that looked like someone had put a gun to their head to go and play for Manchester United. It was horrible. And now you're feeling like these players are loving it and we're loving them, and it's great.
Again, I don't know what Omondi think and you think as well, Jay, but the game, and this is how I feel at the moment at the club and the connection, what we all have at Manchester United, fan base, to the manager, to what's going on around the football club. And for me, it's watching the game on Sunday, and I cannot remember a time where I was out of my seat cheering the passes. I was actually cheering the passes. Anthony literally teared Newcastle apart single-handedly in that first half, and everything Anthony done. And this is again for me with it. I don't understand where some of the fans are on his case about costing that much, and he hasn't produced this, he hasn't produced that. Ten Hag would never have gone out and bought a player of Anthony's stature and think this is the level, this is his ceiling. Obviously, there's progression on top to come as well, but it's part of the process.
Yeah, I just got this chat today. There's a lovely message there from David Pearson. Thanks for your support, David, on the Stretford Paddock channel as well. And I'm glad to hear that. I always talk about mental health, both on the Paddock and on Scotty and Mike, the podcast I do. And I appreciate those nice words. In terms of the process, listen, you know what happens? People want to look at something negative when it comes to United. They look at our signings, you go, Casemiro's probably the best midfielder in the world right now. He's just been in the team of the FIFA Pro Team of the Year. He's just won his first trophy. He's absolutely smashing it. We can't criticise him. Lisandro Martinez, people went after him over his height. United are absolutely flying, and he's been fantastic. Like I said, he's won a World Cup. He's come back. He's smashing it. You can't criticise him. You can't criticise Malacia, who's a bargain. You can't criticise Christian Eriksen because he cost nothing and was smashing it until he got injured. Even Sabitz has come in and has done an absolutely sterling job on a loan. Even Weghorst, I know he doesn't score goals, but he's doing a job. So people go, Anthony, 100 million. Oh, he's done this. He's not done that. He's not done that. He's part of a successful team. And it takes time as well to settle into football, into English football. But he's productive. He's scored goals. He's got assists. He's caused problems for the opposition. And he's won something. So, no, he's not been perfect. I'm not going to sit and pretend he has. But I always ask you this question with any signing. If you could go back in time, would you make that signing? Yes, I would make that signing with Anthony. Because I think if we didn't make that signing, there's a good chance we wouldn't be where we are now. So, yes, I think there's different levels for this kid to go. And yes, we probably did overpay for him. That's not his fault, but we did. But he's still been a positive signing. And I think that, we'll look back in a few years' time and think what a great signing he was, like the rest of Ten Hag signings, because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, 100% agree. Omondi, anything on that?
Yeah, with Anthony, I have been a bit critical of him this season because I want him to do much better. I think there's things he could do better. Maybe he needs to adapt to the Premiership. That's the first thing. I think getting him in is a good signing, very good signing. We compare him to Rafinha, who plays for Barcelona. We were looking at him because he played in the Premier League with Leeds United. We're thinking, wow, he looks good. He looks okay. And they were both in the same World Cup squad as well. But I think with Anthony, he knows Ten Hag. He's obviously left-footed as well. But what I really love about him, which I've really noticed in the last few weeks, is his drive and energy. Like Jay was saying, a lot of these foreign players come in. They don't just come in for the money. The reaction, I mean, even Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle, he was crying after the game for losing. And he's just come here. And people would say, these foreign players, they don't really care. That shows they do. I think so. When you see character like that, which is something that ticks a huge box for me from Anthony, the desire, the fight in him. He wants to go. He wants to square up to Mitchell, the left back at Palace. I wouldn't. He looks like a dormant, He's massive, but he still wants to give it some and get Casemiro sent off for backup. But I still believe that's a great characteristic I like to see, and I'm really delighted with him in that. I just think with process of play, he needs to improve with the off-the-ball movement, maybe giving the ball, feed him, running onto the ball rather than giving it to him, standing someone up and trying to do a little sugar thing, because that's just too predictable now. I want to see him running onto things, and that requires him to have a bit more movement and spinning off, getting him behind, that kind of thing. But it will come. And really, I can't fault any of the signings so far. They've all been brilliant in their own little way.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to change the subject a little bit. It's funny, don't you find it, that Bart, the serious football fan, Liverpool have gone through turmoil. He's not been around. Liverpool won yesterday. He's back. Guess who's back? Back again. And Andy, big up Andy in the business as well. In the business, oh God, in the building. Jay didn't catch that one, but Andy in the building. I've got it. Andy in the building. Big up Andy. Again, quickly before I go back, Jay, you didn't tell us how tall Andy was, really.
That's because compared to you, he's tiny. You lot are all about 6'9", and he's only 6'5", so he's only small compared to you lot.
But you know what's funny? Because we were going to Mr. B's house, and as we're going to Mr. B's house, we're walking up this little hill, and I think, what was it? Me and him said, I said something to him, and he turned around, and I can't remember what he said, but I'm not going to repeat what Andy said, but it was absolutely hilarious. We got to Mr. B's house and opened the door up, and Mr. B sort of introduced them. All of a sudden, Andy with the famous word, I won't say it on here, I'll say it afterwards, but it was absolutely, literally, I could not believe it. It was so funny. And then that set us up because we did a little show afterwards, after. It was hilarious. Absolutely funny. But I didn't realize he was that tall, to be fair.
He says
he's exaggeration like WWE. Andre Giant's 8 foot tall. He's 6'2", Andy is. He's just confirming there.
Jim. 6'2", yeah. But going back though, and let's have the discussion about the quadruple, because that's what we're talking about at the moment as well. With sort of, he's saying with that, it's about the fans to dream. But obviously, him and the players, they've got their feet firmly on the ground. But is it time for us to dream, Jay, or is it still one game at a time?
The difficult one is obviously the league, because we've left ourselves a bit to do, haven't we? Let's be honest. And I feel like the game at the weekend's big, because if we were to lose that, it would be like, that's that done, probably. I don't think we can afford to lose any more matches. It pains me to say that. But if we win it, then you go in, you know what? I fancy this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I fancy us to do something here. The only sort of question is, are City and Arsenal going to drop enough points for us to catch them? So, in terms of a quadruple, probably not. It's our quadruple, not the quadruple. As Champions League is not possible for United. Someone's saying, is he a Liverpool fan? This
yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
I remember. Listen, I'm old enough to remember when they were calling it a treble, when they were counting the UEFA Cup and the League Cup and all that, and they were calling it that treble under Gerard Houllier. So yeah, it's funny how things change.
Yeah.
I think that one's difficult. City is probably still going to be favourites for the FA Cup just because of where they are in the league and the fact that they're still in it. But this team, with this manager, the momentum we've got, the way we've been playing, the fact we've already got one in the bag, which a trophy, which kind of gets a little bit of pressure off you. You know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could end up doing a clean sweep. I think in the cups, I fancy us for another cup at least. In the league, it's going to be difficult. It is. It's not impossible, but we've got to be realistic. It's difficult.
But Jay, if like Liverpool fans, if because they tried to replicate the Charity Shield, FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup last season as a treble as well, didn't they? But if we could go one better and get the Europa League, FA Cup, and obviously we've got the league already, we just need the FA Cup and then we win the Charity Shield. Could that be a quadruple?
I mean, listen. I don't know, man. It's always like some stuff you say, like, you know what I mean? Like it's this is a quadruple or this counts. And I think Liverpool, because they never won the treble, have they? The proper one with like the league, the FA Cup and the Champions League. So their players, remember, were posing with the Champions League they won from a different season and the Premier League they won from that season at the same time, because they never done it in the same season like we have. So yeah, it's always one of those where you think, oh yeah, you know, this is our quadruple or this is our treble or this is that. I remember City counting the Charity Shield when they won it as part of their quadruple. I'm not really bothered. I just want to see Manchester United winning trophies. We've already won one. I think we'll win another one under this manager this season. And I think long term, this manager with these players, I think the good times are on the horizon. I think we will win a league title under this manager. I just don't know if it'll be this season.
Yeah. I'm under anything with that, because obviously with the quotation we're talking about the having our feet firmly on the ground, and obviously we need to, as a fan, for me, I say to everyone, I take one game at a time. Obviously I thought it was a tough game against West Ham for us, but the next game now, we've gone past that hurdle. The next game for us now is against Liverpool, which is our class as our derby game. It's the biggest game of the season for us, for me. And if we can get the 3 points against Liverpool, that then can set up us in a good place, because we've got to remember Arsenal are playing City. They've got to play again. Arsenal also got to play Liverpool. So if we can get the points on the board against Liverpool, that would be huge benefit for us as Manchester United fan and as a club as well, because they're dropping points. Provided we're not dropping points, that's good for us.
So we're talking about 4 trophies. Yeah, we've already won one. FA Cup, I want to talk about that. I'm looking at the draw. There's like 3 championship teams and 1 second division team in there in Grimsby. And then Man City as well. We've got Fulham, obviously, and Brighton. So that's winnable, looking at the draw. The Europa League, we just come through a tough tie. It was amazing. I know Jay went to the new camp. And these are special moments, man.
Was it like this, Jay? Was it like this?
Yeah. That video
I've seen that.
I had to be careful because I was in the home end and they were surfing people out, man. They weren't messing about. Like, there was lads near me that celebrated when Marcus scored and they got chucked out, and there was other lads as well, because where we were sat at that end, away from the other end from where the United goals were in, it looked like Casemiro had scored the second goal. And they hate Casemiro, the Barcelona fans, because of his Real Madrid connection. And these lads near me celebrated that goal, and they got chucked out straight away. Like the lads went and got the stewards got the police took them out. So I had to be careful, man, because even getting into the ground was difficult, because they were asking for passports and everything. They wouldn't let you in if you had an English passport. I was quite fortunate because I went to there's like a perimeter around the ground of like turnstiles there, which aren't the actual turnstiles, you know, like they have at Wembley sometimes. Like, so you get through them, and then you're into the where you've got to go to the ground and then show your ticket and that, or put your ticket in the thing. So I got to that bit, the perimeter, and I looked like on the different gates, and I seen there was one gate was like a kid who looked about 12 who was on it.
Yeah.
So because I had a ticket in the home end that I bought from this lad from Ireland, so I went to this kid, showed him my ticket, and then he's gone passport, and I just looked at him and was like, and then he went, "Go on, like let me through."
I can imagine Jay getting roughed up.
Because I was like, I didn't want to speak because I thought as soon as he was maxing, I'm done for. And then behind him was like a security guy. He unzipped my top, but he mustn't have realised it was a Marcus Rashford top because he was checking for United colours. So he just unzipped it because it looks like that Barack Obama picture, the Hope one. He just looks at it and zips it back up, and then we're right, go on. So I was thinking, right, all right, I'm almost in now. Get to the turnstile, and then the woman at the turnstile was like, for some reason, she spoke to me in English. She must have known I was English. She's like, because I wasn't scanning my ticket properly, you have to put it in the actual slot. So she's like, no, put it inside. So I did that, gets into the ground and think, right, I'm in the ground now. Because my heart was still going because they were being strict with people, man. They weren't messing about. They didn't want United fans in the home end. And there's someone in my seat. So I was like, oh no, because I thought if this guy starts being awkward and the steward comes over and I don't speak Spanish and he does, I'm going to be in trouble. But thankfully, the guy, when I showed him my ticket and I said to him, look, you know, this is my seat. You're in the wrong end or in the wrong section. He was like, oh, sorry. And he moved. So I was in there then. But I had to just be on my guard a little bit because I'm a little bit older and I don't drink. So I wasn't obviously drunk and that. And I can control myself. Like obviously when Marcus scored, I was buzzing. But I just sort of kept it inside. Like, and then there was one point like when the Casemiro goal went in, you know, you do that little thing where you go like that, and then I just I went like this. I kind of went. Oh, it wasn't Casemiro; it was an own goal. But I thought I went like I was.
How dare them score? How dare them score?
Do you know what I mean? Like I had to sort of like do a little bit of that in there just to make it look like I wasn't celebrating because they were annoyed, the Barca fans. Because you can imagine, kind of fuming because it's Casemiro. Or it looked like it was Casemiro. I know it turned out to be no goal. And then when there was United fans, pockets United fans, they were getting called out and chucked out because Frankfurt took like 30,000 fans there last season, and they took over the new camp. Like they took a big section of the new camp. So Barca were clamping down on it. So you couldn't buy a ticket from overseas. Even people in Spain were struggling who hadn't bought a ticket before were struggling to buy tickets because we tried to get someone to buy tickets for us over there, and that was a struggle. So they were on it, which I get. Do you know what I mean? Because like if I was in Old Trafford and I'm watching a game and we've all been there, you've seen it, and then like the rival fans start celebrating their goal in the home, and you're gonna say something, aren't you? Yeah. So it was all right, and like it was weird because I've never been in Nou Camp before, and I was actually glad that I was in the home end because my friends were in the away end. My eyesight's shocking. You're up in the gods in the away end. Have you ever seen any of your pictures looking down to the like? It's like watching like ants. And then they had a perspex thing in front of the away fans, which was dirty. So you're like looking for this dirty perspex thing right up in the gods. I'd have been lost. I wouldn't have been able to see anything. So I'd rather have been in with the home ends because okay, you want to be with your mates and with the United fans and chanting and everything, but the payoff to sit and see what was going on was good, man. I really enjoyed it.
You know, I can imagine, like 40 Towers, Manuel. I know nothing. You know,
yeah. That really
put a little moustache.
Yeah. I was in all sorts of trouble if they were starting asking me questions in Spanish. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know anything. So I would have been.
Get your phone out, Jay. Get it out. Do Google Translate.
Yeah, I would have been done. Like I had to be in a situation where I didn't speak. Like I didn't want to speak because I thought as soon as I start talking, if you put me in a situation where I start talking, they're gonna realise I'm English and I was in Mancunian. Yeah. Like I'm doomed because it was strict there, which I kind of get. But yeah, it was great, man. It was one of those where you sat there and you're in the middle of Nou Camp and you're watching your team playing well as well against Barcelona, and it's like, you know what, I've missed this.
But again, Jay, like you just said, they're playing well. We beat Barcelona, and it was over both legs as well. It was fantastic performance over both legs. Then obviously we went into the final against Newcastle. In the first half, we literally dominated them in the first half. it's as I said, I just want to take one game at a time. But for me, it's almost like I'm excited now. Every time we play a team, I'm excited for. Last season, if you came to me and asked me, I was nervous because I was like, yeah, giving them the 3 points. But now, drawing against Barcelona at the new camp, it felt more of a defeat to me.
I don't know. I want to say, I didn't feel that way. I'll be honest with you. I felt like two things. One, historically at Nou Camp, our record is shocking. I don't think we've ever won there, have we? I know we've won. We beat Bayern Munich in the final, but that wasn't against Barcelona in the Nou Camp. Against Barcelona in the Nou Camp, our record is terrible. But I felt like we were the better team, and I left that game 100% convinced we'd do them at Old Trafford. I thought the only way they had to win that tie was to beat us at the Nou Camp and maybe sneak a draw at Old Trafford. I thought if we went into the Old Trafford game level, we'll win. We'll win that game.
Yeah.
And I said it in my post-match review that I did for the channel. I said, I feel like we're the better team. We've shown that we can beat this team. And also, let's not forget, at the end of that game, they lost Pedri and Gavi. Two massive players for them. That's like us losing, Casemiro and I know the different types of players, but us losing, say, Casemiro and Sabitzer or whatever, or Casemiro and Freddie, if you will, like two players that would have played for them. They would have started for Barcelona in the return leg, and they lost them both. So that's a massive bonus as well. They were already missing Ousmane Dembele. So I just felt confident, and I felt pleased with what I'd seen, confident going into the next game as well. And it was for me, it wasn't a disappointment. Like slightly disappointed that we were winning with half an hour to go, whatever, and we let them get an equaliser. But on the whole, I was pleased, and I think it proved to be true, didn't it? That once we got them at Old Trafford, even though they took the lead, we did it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you there, Jay, for that. What we're going to do, because we've got loads of comments. Guys, 45 at the moment in the chat. Can we get over 50 likes, if you wouldn't mind? So let's hit that like button. Omondi, if you wouldn't mind just hitting through some of the bits and pieces there for me. And I was going to ask Jay in a minute about, go through the comments first, because I want to ask him about the movie, The Grimsby. Have you seen it before?
I want to say hi to Luca. He's saying, nice show, guys. Getting Jay on too. It gives us the thumbs up. Thank you, Luca. And welcome. As Emma's here saying, we're never going to win the league this season with where we were last season and with the new manager coming in. So that was, we're not going to win the league. I think we can. UK Strange saying we can do the Europa League and FA Cup. League's out of our hands. Now, I'm not so confident we can win it. That's UK Strange. David Pearson saying, Man United versus Grimsby Town, FA Cup final 2023. The Red Devils versus the Haddocks. Bring it on. I went to Grimsby once to get a dog about a year or two ago. Big bully dog. It's a long drive, real long drive. Bart is saying here, Ten Hag will do for United as long as he's backed in the market. And United are run properly off the pitch as sustained Premier League challenge is what Fergie mastered. Going to bath time, how you doing? He said, I went to Real Sociedad away. That was this season. And they were plainclothes Manchester police there looking for the the Glazers. The Glazers flag openings, everyone's bags to look for the Glazers flag. And I hear there was something about that at Wembley as well. They didn't want any sort of negative.
Some got sneaked in as well, though. Some got sneaked in, but they did do that. Am I right, Jane, saying that as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've seen a few Glazer flags. I mean, they could be quite strict with flags anyway. Obviously, they were looking for the Glazer one. We've had flags turned away before. When I went to, I think, was it Athens? I think our flag got confiscated just for having. It had swearing in it, but it had it asterisked out, but they still said no. But you're right, they are hot on the Glazer stuff, which is a shame because, some of it's not even offensive. It's just Glazers out or we want our club back or whatever. And you should be able to do that.
UK Strange saying, big up to Jay for going through all of that to support the Reds with your adventures in the Barcelona end. Andy saying here, Andy O'Brien, welcome to the channel.
Welcome.
He said, always great fun listening to you guys. Thank you very much. Big up from Ireland, Robbie Norman. How you doing, Robbie? Says, good evening, lads. Michael Hill's in the house. He's saying, all looks great as long as Varane, Casemiro and Martinez are playing. There's not a chance Maguire and Scott will start against the Scousers. Bart saying, do you think United will win another trophy? Would Ten Hag win the league manager award for the season, or would it be Arteta or Howe? Those are in the running. Congratulations for 3K. That's from Robbie Norman. Thank you so much. Stuart Marshall, who goes to the home games as well, all the way from Essex, says we're going to win a lot. I hope so too. A couple more here. Steve is saying, wow, just seen the funniest football stat ever. Real Madrid have scored one more goal in England than Chelsea this year. Here we go. Chelsea banter. Ahmed is saying, happy birthday, Mr. B. We can't forget you, Mr. B. And finally, Sean Kelly, how you doing?
Welcome.
Jay, you simmed the league earlier, this week, and had United winning by 2 points. Where did you see United? Is that true, Jay? Is that true?
Yeah, I simulated the league, right? There's this predictor thing. So I went through it, and I did it, and I had us winning the league by 2 points, whatever. And then Joe, my friend on the channel, Joe Smith, he did it, and he had us winning the league as well.
Wow.
But the thing is, you can't help yourself. Like, I think there's that biasness comes in. Like, even if you don't mean to be, and you try to be objective, you perhaps aren't. But yeah, I can't remember. I had obviously, I think I had City beating Arsenal, and then City dropping points. I think like Liverpool taking points off one of them, Chelsea maybe taking points off one of them. Newcastle. Which again, you might argue he's a bit unrealistic. I think there was a couple of ways where you go, I can see that being a draw for like a couple of trickier ways, like Brentford or whatever. I can't remember. But it's not exactly very scientific, because there's that, even subconsciously, when you try not to, you can't help yourself. And you're like, yeah, we'll do them. What? We're at Anfield, we'll do them. They're at home to Southampton. Tricky game, that. Tricky one. Yeah, they might, you know what? They might be knackered after the Champions League game as well. So, yeah, put that down as a draw. You know, one of them ones where you do that. And then by the end of it, you've got United top. It was one of them. So, yeah, I wouldn't look too much into my simulation.
Yeah, I would have probably put United by about 6-7 points. Biasness.
I'll see if I can find it, man. I screenshotted it the other day. What day was it? Sorry, I'll see if I can find the. I can't find it.
But it's funny that two of you actually got you and Joe, was it? Actually got.
Yeah, I've got it here, right? I've got it here. I had us on 89 points, right? Winning the league on 89 points. I had City on 88, and I had Arsenal on 88 as well. So yeah, but the only bad thing is I had Liverpool scraping into the top 4 as well.
Don't worry, we don't mind them scraping him if we get the league. It don't matter, bother us extra. Don't bother me at all where they finish, provided not above us and win any more than what we win. There is a last topic I wanted to go through, and it was about Jim Ratcliffe. Basically, the story is coming out. I don't know how true this is, but investors are waiting for Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh to slug it out between them. Now, the share price has dropped since the Glazers have come out and said about them, they're not sure if they're going to sell the club or not. Is that false pretense, what they've done to basically get the share price up, Jay? And then all of a sudden now, we won a trophy, all of a sudden they want to sell the club now?
Well, they're trying to get the share price up, they're doing a bad job of it, because I think the value of the club's plummeted in the last since these rumours have been coming out that the Glazers are perhaps interested in staying on. There is sort of the Elliott management group facilitating some sort of way for them to stay, like, through a hedge fund or whatever. I don't see the Glazers staying, but I will say this: I'm not ITK. It's just that I can see, for me, the Qatari bid being a successful one because of the amount of money that the guy's got at his disposal. But it's not set in stone. You never know the Glazers. And I know Gary Neville's been quite vocal about it, because he says, they've put the season ticket price up for next season for the first time in 11 years. Why have they done that? You've seen them at Wembley. There's this sort that maybe Joel and Avram are keen to keep hold of the club, whereas the others, and buy the other siblings out. Could this Elliott management group do that for them or help them do that? It is worrying when you hear things like that. We'll have to wait and see. But Stuart Marshall nails it there. Glazers out. It's always been Glazers out since 2005. We've all been sort of singing from the same song sheet there. We just want them gone, and we can worry about the next owner. And there's lots of question marks whether it's the Jim Ratcliffe or it's the Qatari bid. And no doubt we'll address them when it happens. But for me, the priority and the sort of focus should be about getting rid of the Glazers.
Yeah, again, it's like a lot of people here are echoing it about obviously Glazers out, and I think it's just greed, really. They've sort of sucked, the blood dry from Manchester United as a football club. So now is the time to say, you know what, even 4.5 billion or whatever much they want from the club, they haven't earned that much money from the club. They haven't, they shouldn't be taking that money out, away from the club, because all they've done is they've just taken. They haven't given anything whatsoever into the football club at all. And I think that's probably hurt more for us as football fans as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. There's been mismanagement. I have it with fans when they go, well, look, you spent 90 million quid or 89 million pound on Paul Pogba. You spent 80 million pound on Harry Maguire. You spent 60, 70 million pound on Di Maria. 60 on Casemiro, 70 on Jadon Sancho. How can you moan? But you look at the way the club's been mismanaged. We're still in 500 odd million pounds worth of debt.
Yeah.
The stadium's falling apart. The training facilities have gone from being modern to vintage. The money's been misspent because we've not had football people in charge of footballing decisions. It's just not good enough. You need new owners. You need people who know what they're doing and who care about the club and who at least have the intelligence to allow football people to manage the football club. And when I say manage, I don't just mean the actual team manager. I mean the person above him. And they haven't done that. They've got involved. They've had bankers like Ed Woodward making decisions, who's absolutely clueless. And we've seen Liverpool, City, and other teams, Leicester, win the title whilst we haven't, because we've been allowed to sort of fall behind.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. Guys, for 49 in the chat, guys, I think we've only got 30 likes, so make sure you're giving us that like. It's free of charge, and if you're new to the channel, just hit the subscribe button. Obviously, we're going to rewind a little bit, and I wanted to ask Jay about movie, because I know Jay loves his movie as well. Jay, Grimsby, have you seen that? You watched it, Grimsby?
Is this the Sacha Baron Cohen one?
Where
his brother's the secret agent or whatever.
Yeah.
I started watching it and it didn't really grip me. I'm not gonna lie. I think I turned it over in the end. I just couldn't be bothered with it. Is it any good?
I think I turned it off after about 15 minutes. It's only because Grimsby's in there. I turned it off. No, I'm telling you, it's, how can I put it? Like when they give you the sequel and they give you the best sort of like clip of what's going to happen in it, and you sit there and you be like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch that because it looks good. The trailer, sorry, I'm saying sequel. The trailer, you watch that little bit of it, and then all of a sudden, I see.
I love that it's like having Omondi as an interpreter. Yeah, it's like, say something.
I know nothing.
I know, yeah. Me know nothing.
Barcelona.
Yeah. So I watched like the little snippet of it, and then I just thought to myself, my missus just sat there. My missus had turned that rubbish off, and that was it. When she said turn the rubbish off, it comes off. That's it. Can't stay on it any longer than that. But no, it was. Well, I wanted to find out if, and also Jay, if Manchester United win this title, do you reckon the agenda we should make a movie?
Definitely, yeah. You should make a movie. I think that if United win the title this season, I think we'll all be making movies, seriously, because I think it's going to be emotional to say the least. Because if you look at where we were following that Brentford loss, people questioning whether we had the right manager, people feeling it's just it's Ralph Rangnick 2.0, and this club's just always going to be doomed. If we could turn that around this season, not say we will, but if we did win the title this season, especially when you look at the fact that you had City with Haaland and Arsenal were flying and all this other stuff, if United did it, then yeah, we'll all be making movies, man, seriously, because that'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. And Jay, obviously you're making a movie. Which famous character would you play?
Which famous character would I play?
Yeah, would like to play.
Which famous? If I was making a movie
about Man, so imagine you're doing like a movie, right?
Yeah. And
Man United just won a movie. We're not going to play ourselves. We're going to play a famous character. Who would it be?
I love to play a man who's been at the forefront of Manchester United now for so long. He's part of the fabric. He's as important a person to Manchester United as anyone I can think of. I'd just love to play Andy Tate.
Oh yeah, Yes, that's a good one. That's not a bad one. And there you go, Q.
I'm sorry to say again, it's Miser.
Absolutely quality. But you know what? Yeah, I was leading role. There you go. I think, you know what? I think all of us, honestly, I would say I'd play. It's got to be between probably. No, I reckon I'll go Andy Tate as well. I'm copying you. And the reason why I'm copying you as well, Jay, is his quick witness about him. It's the way he hit, because my hearing's good. I can hear things. But Sunday.
Well done.
Yeah, but on Sunday, it's almost people walk past, say certain things, and Andy's responding to them. I'm going, hold on, I didn't hear what they say. But he's just sitting there, and the guy's just sitting there going, oh, and he was so quick at everything. He was literally on fire with it all.
He's a good guy, and he's got a heart of gold, and he's, he might get stick off Newcastle fans, but it's probably all in good spirit. He's well loved amongst United fans, and when he's been someone who's been in the public eye for the amount of time he has, Andy, to be as well liked as he is, there's a reason behind that, and it's because he's a genuine guy, loves the club, cares about the club, speaks from the heart, and I've done a lot of videos with Andy over the years, and he always tells his truth. He's never acting, he's never performing, he's just giving you his opinion in all its honesty, and it's great to see him on your channel, smashing it on your channel. We love having him on. Paddock, obviously, he's part of the furniture. And I'm glad to see Andy Tate being able to give his reaction when we're doing well, because he sort of became well known when we were struggling. Now we're doing well. You see how emotional he gets, and it's good to see, man.
Yeah. Me and Pat was walking around, not pretending, but we were with him, like almost like his bodyguard. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I don't think you need us really and truly. But no, like you said, though, he waited around for us. He's such, like you said there, Jay, he's such a gentleman. It's, it's amount of time I have for him and the respect I have for him as well. And for him to come and just support us on the channel as well, just like how you do, it's huge. It's massive. It's so much respect for you guys, for what you do. Out of your time, your spare time, you come and you support us, which is huge.
Listen, there's one reason why, we do it, and I'm sure Andy will say the same. We enjoy it. We get on well with you guys. We have a good laugh. You're passionate United fans, and it's what it's about, man. And it's good that, we've been through some testing times over the last 18 months during the end of Ollie and the Ralph Ragnick era, and now we're enjoying the good times, man. It's good to see.
Yeah, and guess what? Let the good time roll, because it's almost time's up. And guess what?
And me and Omondi have been fully justified in our support of Fred. You were slagging him off every week. we were sticking up for him, saying you're wrong, Solo. Fred is a great player. Believe in him.
Believe in Fred.
Stick with him. And now I feel fully vindicated and justified. I'm sure Omondi does too.
Yeah, Omondi. You know what though? Yeah, I think it's Mr. B out of everyone. I think Mr. B sort of had to eat his words a little bit with the Andy Tate, with the Fred one. I think he had to sort of, because Fred's coming on leaps and bounds and he's doing well. So, but it's not only Fred, it's the whole team, and I'm absolutely loving it. But again, quickly before we wrap up though, I found it so funny watching Phil Jones giving an interview for the FA Cup, for the League Cup final at Wembley. Him sitting there talking about the players, and I'm just sitting there thinking, Phil Jones, man, because as we said, someone put a comment there about mental health and mental well-being and things like that. And obviously, a lot of players have struggled at times, whether or not it's a Man United player, Arsenal, Liverpool player. When it comes to mental health and things like that, we can't always see what's going on behind, because we don't know what's going on with these players. And that's why I say sometimes we've got support. We've got to literally reach out and support rather than criticizing every player. You don't know what's going on. And we look at example like the I don't know, Jay, you'd have seen it, the whole documentary with Messi Lingard, where he talks about, his mom, he talks about what he had to go through. Then you look at sort of the Jadon Sancho situation, you got the Phil Jones situation. So, some players want just an arm be put around them. So we've got to, as fan base, is try to back the players rather than always going in trying to criticize them. If they're done bad, fair enough, in that game they do bad, but they are professional footballers, and there's a reason why they are professional footballers is because they're good at what they do. We can just give an opinion about that, but if we were to go on a pitch with them, they make us look stupid.
Yeah, listen, I think that, like you said it there, criticise players' performances. I criticise Phil Jones' performance. I don't even blame him. I blame Ralph Ragnick for picking him. I thought it was a ludicrous decision. But I've stuck up for Phil Jones, and I think, he's obviously been going through a lot and the mental health issues and stuff. And I presume that's what it is. I think with this, there's been, I think he said that. And I remember when Twitter went after him, and Twitter said, name as a player better than Phil Jones will wait, as a sort of snarky comment about him. And, I tweeted it at the time. I said, listen, you might mock Phil Jones. He's won as many Premier League titles as Liverpool have. He's won as many European trophies as Manchester City have. He's got more England caps than most of these pundits that are slagging him off and criticising him. And he's been at one of the biggest clubs in the world for over a decade. So whilst you might criticise Phil Jones and say he's not the levels that you need from a Manchester United player, he's still got a CV that a lot of other players and people that have never played football are dream of. So yeah, I always look at it individually. Am I happy with the way I talk about players? 100%. Yeah. I think you go through all my videos. I don't think I've ever personally attacked someone or gone after them and them about the way they are as a person or their family or anything like that. I might criticise their performances because they're playing from Manchester United, and I think that's fair game. And I think if you can't have your performances criticised, you shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. But I would never go after people personally. And I think that, if everyone sort of keeps their own side of the street clean, we won't have an issue. And I think that's the only way I can look at it. I can't tell people what to do. Just think, I just look after myself and make sure that, if any of my kids were to watch any of my videos, I don't think they could sit and watch that and go, my dad's a bully or he's a horrible person. They might not like what I say or agree with it, but I don't think I'm that guy when it comes to criticising people. So I think that's what we should aim to do.
Yeah. They're Man United fans, so it's okay. So, they can listen to exactly what you got to say. They
didn't have a choice. Listen, my kids, they can do whatever they want. They can beat whoever they want. I don't care, right? I will never judge them. I'll never tell them anything apart from their football team. They want to go and support another football team. They can go live in the garden. I told them that.
Yeah. Just I'll bring on that shirt, two horrible collar shirts. That's all they can't bring on.
They've all been at the game. We took them all when they were little, when they were babies. We started taking them. They've always my mum and dad or my in-laws always getting the kits and everything, and they love United, and I'm glad because I couldn't be living in a house with kids that support another team, and that wouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
when I think the fans have to take some responsibility. You go there to put the other team off. You can boo the away side. You can sort of give them pelters and that kind of thing. The same applies if you're booing your own players. You have to realise the impact that has. We're playing on Sunday. We don't have any spectators, but we're shouting from the sidelines. And someone had enough because we felt they were criticising them. I said, how would you feel if you're playing with 2,000 people or 70,000 people like Old Trafford? No one is that thick-skinned to be able to take the abuse, And some of it, as fans, there's positives and negative side to it as well. So we have to appreciate that these are just guys playing football as a trade, and that's what they do. But you can influence them. There is a power in the 12th man to really have a negative impact on players. And we need to support our own players, that's for sure. So stop it with the Phil Jones abuse and whoever abuse. People have been getting abused lately. Players like even Pogba, for example. I mean, he was getting lapelters as well. And I just think, come on, guys, give it a rest.
Yeah, 100%. Jay, this is from Vincent, one of our own, as we call him.
So he said, Jay, next time you go to Carrington, can you get a video of you trying to get a picture with Garnacho and an autograph?
We'd get chucked out for that. If you go down there and you get invited to the press events, the press conference or whatever, and then you start chasing players around for autographs and pictures, you get in trouble. So yeah, forgive me, Vincent. If I don't, because if I do, that'll be the last video I ever make at Carrington. They'll ban me.
No ban, yeah, true. These last ones are Monday.
So we've got Viking Red saying, my lad is 14 years old. And since he was 5, he's suffered. But a smile on his face now is legendary because of Manchester United. We're winning, turn it around. Love United, says Viking Red. Just goes to show we're international as well. Arcamenio Gaming, sorry, I'm butchering your name, says, the issue with Pogba was Renola. Man, it was a nightmare with the press. That's his agent, I imagine. And MEFC saying big up to you guys tonight. Thank you so much.
Big up, big up, big up. So, guys, at the moment, 55 in the chat, guys. If you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button. We are on the road now to 4K. I was going to say 4 grand like Mr. B, innit? We're on the road to, I don't know where the 4 grand's coming in, but if Mr. B wants to give me some, I'll take it all day long. But yeah, so guys, we are on the road now to 4K. So if you're new to the channel, 54 in the chat, just give us a like, share, and a subscribe. And Jay, you hit the milestone with us, Jay. We just hit the 3K. So Jay, also where can we find you as well?
Listen, you know where to find me on Paddock. And if you come over from Stretford Paddock, let's get these guys to 4K subscribers by the end of the season. The channel's going from strength to strength. There's a reason myself and Andy Tate and Phil, De Bruyne, and people like that come on this channel because we love doing it. It's always good vibes on here. United are doing well. This channel's flying. Make sure you're hitting like, share, and subscribe. Let's get the United agenda to 4K just in time to see us winning 4 trophies.
Woo! Whoop, whoop, whoop. And one of them is the league as well. I'm being greedy now. I am being greedy. But no, guys, thanks to everyone that is in the chat today. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and supporting the channel as well. And as always, I am Solo on Monday. And as always, Jay, I don't know if you noticed, Jay, but have you seen the photograph as well? Of you, the one looking up. It reminds me of when we did the one with me, you, Mr. B, and Omondi on it. It's like we're a boy band.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Check out the thumbnail. Check out the thumbnail.
On the thumbnail, yeah. Listen, I'm privileged to make the thumbnail with you lot. I remember having a word with you when you had Andy Tate on the first time he was on. And I said to Solo, man, I said, you got to put him on the thumbnail, bro. You got Andy Tate on the channel and you're keeping it a secret. Get the guy front and center. So, yeah. No, I appreciate it. I'm glad. Listen, I don't care what picture you used. I'm just grateful that you put me on the thumbnail, man. I've made it. I'm on the United agenda.
You made it. I was going to sit there. Who is it? R. Kelly, innit? Thank God you made it. You're the world's greatest.
Let's not go down the R. Kelly route, eh?
I'm just singing. I'm just singing this song. It's a great song. He may not be, but it's a great song. It's a great song.
You saved it right to the end, so you did me.
Yeah. I'm the star up in the sky. That's it. So, yeah. But, guys, thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the agenda. And we'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. Pat Lawless will be doing the preview show. And then at 10 o'clock, it's going to be a chaos because it's going to be Mr. B, I believe Callula, and it's going to be all Liverpool fans. Oh,
can't wait for that.
It's going to be, I can't wait for that one. But, guys, thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. From us, good night.
Bye-bye.